It's been hard for me too because I grew up on the east side, and even as a native person, I brought my children to play at the playground. At the time, I didn't know that there were burial mounds all over this entire bluff, and that literally everywhere up here underneath the ground are the remains of our ancestors. I didn't know that. Indian Mounds Regional Park here is a place where a lot of the Dakota communities up and down the river would bring the bodies of their relatives to be interred here. We would put somebody's remains up on a scaffold until there were only bones that remained, and then they would be interred into the mounds. The place that you would want to bury your relatives is on some place high where they can be close to the stars, so they can find their way home along the Milky Way, and also so that they can watch over you. This, being the highest point along this part of the Mississippi River, naturally was an ideal place for our people to be buried and for us to lay our relatives to rest. So that's why there were so many burial mounds here at Mounds Park. Obviously, the way that this landscape has changed has been through colonization and what was best for the captains of industry along the Mississippi River. For the newly arrived colonizers, they thought this was the best view of the city, so a lot of our burial sites were plowed over and the mounds were destroyed to make room for houses so that people who were wealthy enough could buy those houses and have the best view of the river. I like to come to these places because I want to pay my respects to the ancestors who are buried here, and I want to let them know that we haven't forgotten them or we're doing the best that we can to take care of them. At the same time, it's really hard and it's sad because when we come here as Native people, we know that the way that this place is managed right now, the way that people interact with this space isn't consistent with how we would like to see the space treated. A lot of people, again, who maybe have been here for a couple of generations right here in this immediate neighborhood are used to relating to this space in one way. And so I think while other people might have this idea that this park has been here forever, these trails have always been here, for us, it seems like a blip in the history of our time here as Dakota people. The work that we're trying to do at Lower Phalen Creek Project in partnership with the City of St. Paul is to try to help people reimagine with the rest of the community how this place could be a place for reverence and other places in the community could be a place for recreating. Ideally, the space would look like a place where there are very few built structures, so a removal of a lot of the structures that are here, a return to a landscape that is more consistent with how the land would have looked prior to colonization. So, reintroducing native species, native plant species, creating that habitat for our winged and four-legged relatives who also share this land and home on the east side, and a place where people can come to pay their respects to the ancestors who are buried here and reflect on where we are now, which is in the heart of Dakota Makoche, the heart of our homelands.